For thousands of years before written history, the people of North America lived by reading the land with extraordinary precision. Every valley, every river, every shadow on the plains carried information that could mean survival. Long before agriculture took root, hunting shaped not only daily life, but entire cultures. It was the center of movement, technology, family roles, migration routes, and spiritual identity. Across the continent, children were raised to observe the smallest details of the environment: the bend of grass pressed by a passing elk, the shifting winds that carried a herd's scent, the silence that falls over a forest moments before a predator appears. Hunting was not merely pursuit. It was a lifelong education written into the rhythms of nature. On the Great Plains, hunting became an art of strategy and endurance. Before the arrival of horses, hunters tracked bison on foot for days, learning the herd's patterns, its reactions, and the safest distance to approach. Groups coordinated silently, using the terrain to their advantage: a slope to hide their approach, a bend in the land to funnel the herd, a sudden burst of movement to start the run. When the moment came, hunters released spears tipped with obsidian, bone, or flint, weapons crafted with such care that each blade carried hours of work. Every successful hunt meant life for the entire community, and every part of the animal was used with purpose and respect. The hide became shelter, the bones became needles and scrapers, the sinew became bowstrings, and the meat was dried into long-lasting food that sustained families through winter. Nothing was wasted, for the hunter and the hunted belonged to the same circle of life. In the dense forests of the East, hunting required a different kind of knowledge: patience, silence, and the ability to track through thick brush where visibility narrowed to a few meters. Deer, turkey, and black bear were essential sources of food and material. Hunters moved with near soundless steps, placing their feet on moss, roots, or stones to avoid cracking leaves. They carried bows made from hickory or ash, flexible wood that delivered power even in humid conditions. Hunters blended into the environment so completely that animals often passed within arm's reach. Tracking was an intellectual challenge: reading claw marks on trees, examining the shape of hoof impressions, following broken twigs that revealed direction. Every hunt was a dialogue with the forest, one built on memory, sensitivity, and respect for the balance between taking and giving. In the far north, hunters faced some of the most unforgiving conditions on Earth. The Inuit and other Arctic peoples developed tools found nowhere else: the harpoon, the kayak, the dog sled. They hunted seals breathing through small holes in the ice, waiting motionless in sub-zero temperatures, listening for the faintest sound of movement beneath the frozen surface. Walrus and caribou provided food, skins, and tools essential to survival. A single successful hunt could support an entire community through long stretches of winter darkness. Here, hunting meant mastering not only animals, but ice, storms, and wind. In the deserts of the Southwest, hunters adapted to sparse resources and intense heat. Rabbits, deer, and bighorn sheep were pursued across rocky cliffs and arid basins. Hunters carried lightweight throwing sticks and atlatls, spear throwers that increased distance and power. Tracking became a test of endurance, reading faint prints on dry soil, noticing disturbed stones, or identifying the direction of a herd through subtle changes in plant growth. Water sources determined migration routes, both for animals and for the people who followed them. On the Pacific Northwest coast, hunting extended into the ocean. Communities relied on massive cedar canoes to travel far into open waters in search of sea lions, seals, and salmon. Hunters learned to read waves, currents, and the behavior of migrating fish. Spears with detachable harpoon heads were crafted to anchor into the animal until it tired. The ocean provided such abundance that complex societies formed along the coastline, built on fishing, hunting, and deep spiritual connection to marine life. Across all regions, the hunt was more than a pursuit for food. It shaped identity, ceremony, and belief. Before a hunt, some communities performed rituals of purification or offered thanks to the spirits of the animals. Children learned to handle tools with care and saw the hunt as a responsibility, not a conquest. The land was not something to dominate. It was a living partner. Hunters understood that overhunting threatened future generations, so they followed seasonal patterns, leaving herds to regenerate and landscapes to recover. Even when agriculture, trade, and permanent settlements expanded across the continent, hunting remained central. It unified families, provided security, and connected people to their ancestors. The skills passed down through storytelling carried thousands of years of accumulated knowledge that preserved balance between human life and the natural world. When Europeans arrived, they encountered societies with deep scientific understanding of animal behavior, ecosystems, and sustainable resource management. Knowledge built not from textbooks, but from continuous observation and intimate participation in the environment. Today, indigenous communities across North America continue to preserve these traditions. Hunting remains a cultural practice, a source of identity, and a way to maintain the same relationship with the land that sustained ancestors for millennia. It is a living legacy of skill, respect, and harmony, a reminder that survival has always come not from domination, but from understanding the world with patience, humility, and deep connection.
See the shift?
Water ahead.
Hold it steady.
Ready? From the north, with thee.
The elk follow the river here, then turn north.
Good meat from the last hunt.
And so, the spirit of the deer guides our hands.
Listen for the currents.
Warm now.
See how the weight shifts here?
Steady hand, like so.
The great hunter saw the path of the stars mirrored in the hoofprints of the bison.
Listen to the forest, son. It speaks.
The wind whizzed the wisdom of the ancestors.
The land provides, as it always has.